Hey there, Wastelander. Welcome back to Fallout McFly, my little corner on the internet where I just talk about Fallout and stuff. And in this video, we're taking a look at the Mothman Equinox event in Fallout 76. Now, I didn't think I needed to do a walkthrough because the event itself just tells you what to do. But no, I think the fun here and the mystery of it, it's hidden in the midst of it all. But today I'm here to be an observer, and I hope to enlighten you on the Mothman Equinox. This event has a lot more to it than meets the eye, in my opinion. It has lore, it has a secret Easter egg, and ultimately it gives us a pretty good difference between the Mothman cultists that attack us in-game and then these Mothman cultists. Apparently there's a bit of tomfoolery going on with Mothmen, but let's get into it. Moving into our first point of interest, we have to talk about the Mothman tomes. Now, I'd be lying if I said I noticed these on my first time doing the Mothman Equinox. But as you start getting used to the event, doing it over and over again, you start to notice your surroundings more. These are 6 Mothman lore tomes. Each one is written from a different perspective of a prophet in the Mothman cult, this specific Mothman cult. The catch here is you unlock each tome with each event completion, and each tome needs a specific amount of event completions. Thankfully, our friends over at the Fallout Wiki have already done the work. No spoilers here, but they were pretty interesting to read, especially that last one. And I can't recommend it enough if you love Mothman lore in this game. And overall, it was really nice to find these. You usually don't get this kind of edition in a public event. It's nice to know that they're thinking about the lore, and this also gives you something to do when the event is down. So if you haven't checked these out yet, or you didn't know they existed like me at first, maybe you should go see how many event completions you need and, do some reading. It can't hurt. Up next is what I guess you would call a secret, or in my terms, I'd call it an Easter egg, with a capital E on the egg. Now, one of the biggest questions any person would probably have if they really dive into this public event is, what do I do with the Perfect Mothman Egg? This is a specific Mothman egg that can be received 5% of the time when you open a High Priest Cultist pack. And yeah, one of the biggest questions, what do you do with this thing? What is this? It does degrade like normal food, and when you take it to a cooking station, you can't cook it like any other kind of normal Mothman egg. And I'm happy to say it's a lot more fun than that. Now again, this is an Easter egg, so it is a small little detail, but a fun one. You can take that Perfect Mothman egg, head into Point Pleasant during the Mothman event, and normally there's a font of Mothman eggs right behind the statue in town. And only during the Mothman event does it have a prompt. Normally you can click on it and it'll say you don't have the requirements, but if you have a Perfect Mothman egg, it will take it. Now, I'm no developer, I don't talk to people in Fallout 76 or the people that made this game. It's really up in the air, this is just my assumption. But it just seems like a fun little Easter egg. You put this in here, and then during the defend phase of the mission, not only will normal Mothmen spawn, but you'll also get Mothman hatchlings. It's a fun little addition to the event, and I guess ultimately more scrap, because more Mothmen and hatchlings spawn more than usual, so you can get all that kind of scrap. Digging a little deeper, I did find a Reddit post where someone claims that apparently a clone of the NPC Ares will spawn in the north part of town. I unfortunately did not have enough Perfect Mothman eggs to test this theory out. I could only look a little bit, and I wasn't going to drive myself crazy. For all I know, this is a grain of salt on Reddit. But the link here apparently is the person who worked on the Mothman event is the same creator of the character Ares from the Wastelanders update. So there's apparently the tie-in, and maybe happy hunting? Maybe you guys can find Ares. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know. I would love to know. But other than that, this is all I see that it does. If anything, I guess just more scrap and just a little bit of fun. Sometimes we just gotta have a little bit of fun with the game, But after looking at the Fallout Wiki, my theory is this is just an Easter egg that they made this font work for a mechanic that was cut from the original event. Originally in the event, apparently we were supposed to light candles and also pick up Mothman eggs and put them in this font. Now I'm sure they scripted the font and they just wanted to do it anyway, so, make use of the Perfect Mothman Egg. And now finally we move on to the host of our ritual, Interpreter Clarence. Now this is the creepy spooky guy that basically talks to you in your mind while you're doing the event. And I'll just say at the top here, great voice acting. This was amazing. Great pick, great effects, great put together. I don't know, this is just amazing. I love hearing this. The first time I experienced this event, I just remember getting some kind of chills. But with that being said, you can talk to him and he has a lot to say. I'll leave the meat of it up to you so you can go talk to him and find out your own assumptions. But in the short of it, they come from a completely different Mothman cult. And apparently there's been some confusion and false prophets and different types of Mothmen.
Do not mistake us for the dim ones, followers of the red-eyed pretender.
And if that sounds confusing at all, I would definitely recommend you go read those lore tomes that I was just talking about at the beginning of the video. But they start to dive into different false prophets, we'll say. And I've said this before, but great addition. I always like to see lore and little bits added to the actual events. It gives them more meaning at the end of the day and helps them fit into this big world that they're trying to develop.
We have ventured from our place of study, the Lantern, far from here. During the time of the equinox, myself and a group of observers make the perilous trip to the Wise One's homeland.
And then if we could take a second to talk about Wise Charles the Forewarned. I really don't know what to make of this guy. Is it just a brain tumor, or does he really have some kind of power? Because the more I kept hearing about him from Clarence I don't know, I was kind of getting sad about it, because it starts to sound like delusions of grandeur brought on by a brain tumor.
Our meager form is but a shell, a cocoon. He has broken from it, and his vessel has become a cup, overflowing with vision.
But of course, we're talking about Fallout 76 here, so this could be a real supernatural thing. I have no idea. You can click on him a lot, and he has a surprising amount of voice dialogue. And I'm hoping eventually we get to more of a storyline about these Mothman cultists, because specifically I keep hearing about a her, and not to trust her, and who is her, and there's just a lot of vague talk, and I wish maybe we could put some shape to it eventually.
Do not believe her. Leave her.
That is all the wisdom I have to impart, unfortunately. Go forth, enlightened one, and spread good deeds in the name of the enlightened Mothman. As always, thank you so much for watching. A like is appreciated, all that good YouTube stuff, and I will catch you out there in the wasteland.